What is sustainability? Is sustainability about recycling and turning off lights?
So sustainability is one of those words which has emerged in the last 50 years. We didn't really have a word for sustainability until we realised in the 60s and 70s that we had to live within the limits of the planet that we inhabit. And so that's realisation that we were restricted to and had to live within ecological limits has really changed the way that people are thinking. So that's the sort of the background to it. And sustainability is interpreted in lots of different ways, but at a very basic level and a simple level, it's about living within planetary means.
Sustainability as a concept, as a movement, and as an aim has certainly undergone quite a transformation since then, to go beyond conservatism, to include social justice, inclusiveness, and internationalism.
What is sustainability? Well, if you haven't heard, there's a climate crisis. Yep, ever since the Industrial Revolution, mankind has been slowly poisoning the planet we live on. It's big news, you've probably heard of it. Second to COVID, it's probably the biggest thing that's happening in the world right now, and it affects everybody.
There's never a point at which the environment is in crisis. The environment will always rectify itself. It will always, over very long periods of time, find a balance. The crisis is actually a human crisis. It's the way that we're thinking and the way that human beings are behaving. And so a definition which works for me rather better is that sustainability is how we relate to ourselves, how we understand ourselves as human beings and what makes us tick, how we relate to other people. And so that's to do with society and do with community and groups and friendships and all those sorts of things, how we relate to others, and thirdly, how we relate to the world around us.
We tend to look at the world from the perspective of ourselves and see ourselves as the centre of things from which everything else pans out. We see ourselves as independent agents, doing what we will, acting on the world as if the world was simply a stage and basis for our actions. But if we think about the world in that kind of way, we're not going to understand sustainability. So we need to take a different perspective and a different focus. Since the very beginnings of life on Earth, all life has existed as a kind of single ocean, a flow of interconnected life. Not only is life connected together intimately, we're all part of that one flow, but life on Earth is perfectly attuned to the conditions that it finds itself in, whether that be the geology, the rocks, which then contribute to soils, whether that be the oceans and their composition, or whether that be the air we breathe and the atmosphere. There's a kind of intimate interconnection and balance between every species of life and its evolution and the planet on which life has evolved and is still evolving.
But ultimately, I would want to say that it's rather more than turning off the lights or recycling. Useful though that is, and important though that is, it is a much bigger agenda. And talking about the green agenda, building back greener, green this, green party, well, it's a good shorthand. It's very useful. We all need shorthands, but it actually leads us into thinking that it's entirely about looking after the creepy crawlies, looking after the natural world. The natural world will look after itself. We need to get our act together as a species, because actually what we're realizing is we're running up against the buffers and that we're actually causing and heading towards ecological collapse.
This could be highlighted when perusing the United Nations 17 sustainability goals that include diverse ways of achieving sustainability in the world, from eradicating poverty and hunger, access to good health, well-being, clean water and sanitation, to ensuring gender equality, access to quality education, equality and peace. The 17 SDGs are an urgent call for action by all countries and communities developed and developing to work towards in a global partnership.